When it comes to campers, lightweight and off-road usually don't go hand in hand. After all, if you're heading into rough terrain, you gotta bring something big, heavy, and built like a tank. Right? Wrong. And I can prove it. Because today, we're looking at lightweight, off-road camper trailers that combine serious capability with easy towing, smart design, and enough off-grid features to take you almost anywhere. So ladies and gentlemen, let's camp. Here's the thing about the Tvan MK6. It looks like it should weigh a ton, and it just doesn't. Track Trailer built this lightweight off-road camper on a hot-dipped galvanized steel chassis riding on military-derived MC2 suspension, the same asymmetric link system originally engineered for Unimogs. So you get serious articulation over washed-out trails without dragging a heavyweight behind your rig. The aluminum sandwich panel strong box body keeps things light without going soft on rigidity. And honestly, the rear setup is where it gets clever. The skyward lift-up deck raises the hatch and floor together, so you're inside in about 30 seconds flat, full camp mode in 5 minutes. Outside, a slide-out kitchen with a 3-burner stove and 108-liter water tank handles real cooking, not just snacks. Prices start around $49,750 for the Inspire, climbing to the fully electric Lightning at $71,100 with a 500 ampere-hour battery bank. A camper that's barely wider than your truck's mirrors, yet handles like it was built for the Simpson Desert. That's the Mosfab Cosmos, a lightweight off-road camper from a small Melbourne outfit that ditched the usual heavy caravan playbook. At just 4.4 meters long and 1,640 kilograms, it tucks down trails a full-size rig would never fit through, riding on adjustable Tico airbag suspension with dual shocks per wheel and Mickey Thompson tires that shrug off rock and sand alike. Pop the side hatches and there's a full slide-out kitchen with an induction cooktop, dual fridges, and even a hidden coffee station. And here's the surprise. Warm air from the diesel heater actually pipes straight into the rooftop tent. Pricing's still settling as it heads to production, but early bird buyers are looking at around $78,400 to $98,000. Here's the thing about teardrop trailers. Most feel like an afterthought once you're actually cooking dinner in the dark, elbow deep in a cooler. The Cedar Ridge Vega 2.0 fixes that without piling on weight, which is exactly why it earns its spot as a genuine, lightweight off-road camper. This 13-footer ditches wood entirely for a fiberglass composite shell, so it stays light enough for a mid-size SUV to tow confidently down a fire road. Yet the XT variant rides on a beefed-up steel frame with 21 inches of clearance, more than plenty rigs twice its size. The galley slides out separately from the counter, so you're not fighting for space over one cramped sink. Starting prices run $33,000 for the AT and $36,000 for the XT. And honestly, the real surprise is the skylight over the pillow. Stargazing built right into a trailer that tows like it weighs nothing. Trailer companies love to make modular mean you'll pay through the nose for every option. Off-grid trailers flipped that with the Sprocket, and it's exactly the kind of lightweight off-road camper that proves affordable and capable aren't opposites. Built on the same chassis as their bigger Expedition, it's all metal, no wood anywhere, so it shrugs off moisture and rot for the long haul. It sits on Timbren axle-less suspension with 16 inches of ground clearance, meaning washboard roads stop feeling like a threat and start feeling like just another Tuesday. Storage passes straight through from the cabin to the rear hatch, so loading camp gear doesn't mean walking laps around the trailer. And the smartest part? Nearly everything. Fenders, jacks, solar, even an upgraded 8-inch travel independent suspension bolts on later, so you buy small and build exactly the rig you need. Starting at $23,500, it's proof capable doesn't have to mean expensive. Believe it or not, this one comes from 3 friends who took a Rocky Mountain road trip and decided the camper industry needed a shakeup. That's the origin of Sasquatch's Smuggler, and it's a lightweight off-road camper in the truest sense. Dry weight barely cracks 1,340 pounds, thanks to an aluminum frame that still earns a lifetime warranty. Here's the thing. With 22 inches of ground clearance and a custom coilover suspension built just for this trailer, it laughs off terrain that would rattle bigger, heavier rigs apart. Pop the rear hatch and there's a full galley. 3-burner stove, 36-gallon water tank, and exterior shower. Starting price now sits at $46,000. But the real trick is that massive 90 cubic feet of exterior storage, so your truck stays light too. Trust me, teardrop prices have gotten out of hand. Plenty of them cross $40,000 once you're done adding options. That's what makes Bean Trailer's Stock 2.0 such a plot twist. This lightweight off-road camper starts at just $15,999 and weighs a mere 1,175 pounds. Light enough for a RAV4 or Forester to tow without breaking a sweat. Here's the thing, it still rides on real Timbren suspension and a one-piece molded fiberglass shell. So trust me when I say you're not trading durability for the discount. Bean stripped out the built-in galley to keep weight down, which sounds like a downgrade until you realize that open shelf space swallows way more gear than a fixed kitchen ever could. And honestly, the leak-free composite construction alone would justify a higher price tag. Here's the thing. Around 1,600 pounds means you can tow this thing with a regular car license in most of Europe. No special trailer endorsement needed. That's the Miniatouring M22, and it might be the purest example of a lightweight off-road camper doing more with less. Starting weight is just 1,200 pounds, riding on a galvanized steel chassis with hydraulic shocks, so towing feels less like hauling cargo and more like an afterthought behind your EV. And yes, it's genuinely built with electric tow vehicles in mind. The slide-out kitchen works from outside or in, so bad weather doesn't cancel dinner plans. And honestly, no two units look alike. The birch interior grain means your camper is basically one of a kind. Starting around 15,300 euros, this is one of those unforgettable rigs. Teardrop shape isn't just cute. It's the whole reason this thing tows like it's barely there. The Adventureman X10 sticks to Australian bones. Galvanized off-road chassis, leaf springs, solid axle, and electric brakes, all wrapped around a cabin small enough to disappear behind almost any SUV. That's the trick with a genuine lightweight off-road camper. Less drag, less weight, more places you can actually get to. Inside, a full queen bed swallows the tight footprint, with USB ports and reading lights keeping it comfortable after dark. And here's what gets me. The rear galley runs butcher block benchtops over real storage, so cooking at camp doesn't feel like an afterthought. What I'm trying to say is that you can camp rougher and still sleep like royalty. Honestly, this one might be the cheapest way to prove lightweight and capable aren't opposites. The red Gecko TDX is a South African teardrop that weighs under 1,000 pounds, light enough for a Suzuki Jimny to pull it down a rutted track without straining. We're talking a stainless steel chassis wrapped in old-school birch plywood, then sheathed in Raptor lining so moisture and scratches just bounce off. That's a genuine lightweight off-road camper built to last, not just look tough. The tailgate galley folds out into a full worktop with a dual-burner stove tucked in a drawer, so cooking at camp takes seconds, no setup drama. And here's the surprise. A steel-reinforced roof means you can bolt on a rooftop tent and suddenly sleep a whole family. All that, and it starts under $11,000. Small, scrappy, and nowhere near out of its depth. And that's a wrap on some of the toughest little campers proving lightweight doesn't mean lightweight on capability. If you're planning your next off-road build, hit like and subscribe for more breakdowns like this one. And if you're curious how these compare to full-size overland trailers, check out the video on screen now.